Well, originally the farm was owned by my great-grandparents, the Wilcoxes. Then my mother's parents bought the farm from them. My father and my uncle farmed in partnership for quite a few years.
My husband was a farmer, but my father and my grandfather were farmers too. So I lived on this farm most of my life, which is quite a few years.
They all milked cows and did crops, and they even had tobacco and some other crops probably we don't raise anymore. But it was mainly a dairy farm from the time my father took it over. When I went up to school in Madison for a few years, I decided that's when I wanted to farm. When I begged my parents to let me start farming here, they weren't real crazy about the idea. But they said it's a tough life, and they tried to talk me out of it, but I was bound determined by then to do it.
There is a lot of hard work and a lot of time invested in it, and not a lot of pay. As long as I can remember, I always wanted to be here on the farm. I like to feel the fulfillment at the end of the day, even if it's a simple repair. I just enjoy farming, and I want to raise a family farming, and there's nothing else I'd rather do.
Me and my brother are partners, so we have major roles here, taking over the farm, and so we're farming alongside my dad. And then my sisters, Bridget and Megan, they also are staying involved. In other occupations, maybe you can't really work with your family as well, but being able to be partners with my brother and us as a team, like, that's everything to me.
My biggest memories are when I was getting out of bed at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and there'd be 8 or 10 loads of baled hay sitting in the yard, and the elevator would be going, the familiar sound of the elevator and the smell of that hay. Then I got to be a little older, and when I had to actually help do it, then I had a little bit different ideas about baling hay.
The thing I most remember is following my dad around, milking with him, not being able to do much. Sometimes he would put a stool in the milking parlor so that we could reach the cows and dip or dry for him.
My fondest memories were getting done with chores and walking in the house to visit my grandma and eat breakfast with her pretty much every morning that I didn't have school.
One other memory is we would climb up in our hay mound and then jump into the cotton seeds, so we did that for hours. Most kids were jumping on trampolines, but we were jumping in the cotton seed.
Peter always loved raccoons, and so every spring he would go out into the barns and he would make his raccoon sound. And lo and behold, there was always a baby raccoon that has lost its mother, so we would bring the raccoon into our home, and first we would feed it with an eyedropper, and then eventually it went to a bottle, and it would just hold the bottle and drink out of it, and they were just the coolest pets.
A lot of the changes that we've made around here that I had a hand in, building a new machine shed and adding on to the freestall barn, closing it in, so then in the wintertime, it's a lot less stress on you and the animals, having everything under one roof so we don't have to be outside a whole lot. We've made life a lot simpler and very, one-man type of operation.
Technology has been the biggest change on the farm, I think, of anything. And when I started milking cows, I used the same parlor that my father did, because that was built in 1958. And we did a little remodeling on it, but it was, you milk 4 cows at a time. Now we milk 12 cows that come in the parlor and 12 units to put on, but they have automatic takeoffs and digital readout on the amount of milk that they give.
As far as our farm, I don't think we'll expand too much. We don't really have the room for it or anything, but it's not always about quantity, it's about quality. So I guess just keeping up with the times, because you have to stay up with the technology to be able to keep going on.
I feel so proud to be grown up on a farm. I think that it helped our work ethic, and it's helped us get jobs and get involved in the community and just kind of put ourselves out there in situations we wouldn't maybe have had the opportunity to if we didn't grow up on a farm.
I like the independence and not having a boss. I guess that's why I like farming the most. I can do what I want when I want, even though I'm, have to do certain things at a certain time, you get them done and then you can do what you want.
In a farm, everything is for the cows. It doesn't make any difference what you want to do. It's what the cows need. That's important.
I just really enjoy the hands-on things. I love doing field work and, getting the barns cleaned out and hauling manure and feeling that accomplishment that you're actually physically seeing something get done.
I couldn't imagine growing up in the city and not being able to help out and have our chores on the farm. Someday we hope to just have the farm to be able to grow our families, and if we all have kids someday, to be able to bring them here and give them the life that we had as children.